Greetings, guys. Welcome to TBL Academy. This is a continuation of our hot data science class. So, first mastering Python 0 to hero. So from here, then we will try looking at some data structures after the control flow, because control flow is one of the important things you need to know before you can advance in hot Python. So I urge you all to stay tuned and let's learn together. So if this we talk about control flow, so like I said, control flow is one of the important things you need to know. So for instance, a variable is given to you and there's an input, so integer then input, so you are taking an input from the user, then b also takes an input from a user by an integer. So if the user types in a string or a float, it won't accept it because we have specified this. So after that, then perform a task like print this, so print only the bigger number. So perform a task. So how are we going to do that? So that should be the question. Like how are we going to print only the bigger number? So that's when the conditions comes in. So let's look at, so we are starting with control flow when we have if condition. So like how? So for instance, if a is equal to an integer of then take an input, so take an integer input, so you can decide to print an image here, sorry, I say image, a message there. So we'll put a message there that input a number or something like that. So enter a number or input a number. So after that, then perform a task. So what kind of task do you want to perform? So you want to check whether b, if b is greater than a. So anything indented like this under if condition or any statement like this is the body of the if condition. So this is the body, so this over here is the body, so this is the body of your if condition. So the indentation matters in control flow. So for instance, if there's no indentation over here, then that means if condition is not having a body, so it will just print this without any statement, then and jump to the next statement. But if this thing happen, if this condition is true, then print b is greater than a. So let's go to our Jupyter notebook and see. So this is our Jupyter notebook. So let's look at if condition. So shift enter to go to the next line. So we are looking at if condition. Let's make some little alteration. Put it in bracket. So let's look at this. So a is equal to let's take an integer input. So then what, this, press enter to go to just the next line, not in the same cell. So b is equal to so input, so enter again. So if b is what, greater than a, then what, bring your colon for it to what, so the next time you hit enter it will indent it for you. But when you go backwards, it's send the cursor backwards. That means what you write over here will not be in what, will not be the body of what, the if condition. So if this is true, nothing will happen to it. So it will just go straight and print horse nest. Yeah. So your indentation matters. Sorry. So if this is what, true, then print what, b is what, greater than what, a, then what, let's say from there what, print b. So let's write something so that we will know that what, this is what, in the what, if is part of the body of the if condition. So let's say print I so inside what, if condition. So I'm still inside if condition. So let's print this. So shift. So next time you see what, take a number, so you can what, put in what, input message that what, enter a number. So let's say enter a number, let's pick 10, then enter another number again. So let me say 12. So b is greater than what, a, and what, print b, and now b is what, 12, and it's telling you that what, I'm still what, inside what, the if condition. So I'm still inside what, the if condition. That means what, print I am still inside what, if condition is also part of what, if condition. So it's also a body for the if condition. So I am still inside if condition to be printed for what, this. So let's say let's rerun this. So shift. So let's say a is what, 15, b is what, 5. So since this is false, there's no message for you that what, this will not be printed. Since this condition over here is false, this will not be printed, because we say what, if this is true, print this, and that. But right now this statement is not true, so this is supposed to jump to a, so let's add this to it. So enter. So print. So if this is not true, then jump straight to what, print what, I am outside what, if condition. Since the condition is not condition is not true. So let's rerun the same thing. Shift enter, then what? Let's press A 15, B 5. So since this statement over here is what? False, it will jump straight to what? This, to print this, and this is not part of what? The if condition. The if statement is not part of it, so it won't print. So none of this will be printed. The one highlighted will not be printed. It will print this one straight. I am outside what? If condition. Since the condition is what? Since the condition is not true, so shift run 15 5. So I am outside if condition since the condition is not true. So let's look at what? So how can we do this? So for instance, if B is greater than what? A, then print this message. Print this message. So what if this statement is what? Is not true? Then what are you going to do? So let's say we can add another what? If condition to this. So if condition. So let's say if A is greater than what? B. If A is greater than what? B. Then your what? Colon for indentation, then enter. So if this is that, then print what? Print A. So print A. So let's add another condition so that we know where you will land. If so, let's add I am in what? In the second if condition. So yes, I'm in the first if condition. So this is that. So let's print. So let's say A is what? 10. B is what? 12. Sorry. So this is telling us that what? This is telling us that what? When what? A is 10 and B is 12. If B is greater than A, then what? Print what? B. Print what? B is greater than A, then you print B, then you say I'm inside what? I'm in the first if condition. So what if that statement is not true? Then what? It will land over here that what? A is greater than B. So print A and say what? I am in the second if condition. So right now A is 10 and B is 12, B is greater than A. So and what? B is what? 12, and I'm in the first if condition. So we have landed in this condition. So what if this the statement is false? Where are we going to land? So let's check. So let's rerun this. So if A is what? 15 and B is 5. So enter and what? Print A. So now we have landed in what? In the second if condition. So we have landed in the second if condition. So that means what? A here is what? Greater than B. So since this statement is false, then Python will what, go to the next code and see and check what the next line for you. Then what, so if this statement is false, then you go to the next line and see if this statement is true. Then if it's true, then what, you run. So since the statement is short, I am in the second if condition. The statement is true, it will print this out for you. So now let's look at what if. So you will now look at what if this statement all will be false. Will you be writing if? No. So what if this happens, then do something else. So let's say if or else. So we'll check what if or else condition. Let's say if we have if else. So if or else condition. So let's say you take the user input, so input from a user, then what, A and B, then from there if B is greater than 8, print B is what, print what, B is greater than A, else print what, B is not greater than A. So what, print this one, this condition, this statement is not true, the statement over here is not true. Then what, jump to the next line and verify. So if this is not true, then what, print what, then what, print B is not greater than A. So that's what our next condition. So next control flow, if else condition. So let's look at let's look at this. So escape and mark down. So if hyphen, then let's say else condition, else condition, if else condition. Okay, let me write it in small. If else condition, so shift enter. So if else condition, so you'll be looking at the if else condition. Sorry, let's add condition. So what if we have what, this? So let's say A is equal to, let's take input from a user again. So input. So last time we learned all how to take input from a user from our first lesson. So this is our second lesson. So urge you all, those who are now joining us, to what, go back to the first lesson and what, learn what we have done so far. Then you can what, keep up with us. So input, then what, if, undo, if B is greater than what, A. So we can decide to put this in parenthesis, just so to make this look nice. So I'll keep it this way. So I'll just clean it. So this is the body of the if. So if B is greater than A, print what, let's say B is greater than A. Then what? Print B. So let's say I'll add print I am still inside if condition. So let's say else what? Else what? Do what? Then you're hot. And then you hit enter. So print what? B is not what? Greater than A. Since B is not greater than A, then do what? Since B is not greater than A, so let's say B is not greater than A. So let's run this. So let's consider what? Let's consider this to be B to A to be what? 10. Enter. We have 12. So B, since B is all, since the if condition is true, this statement is true, we are what? In the if body. We are in the body. We are in the body of this statement. So that's why we say what? I am still inside of if condition. What if this statement is not true? Then what is going to happen? So let's check that statement. So let's now give what? B A 15, B 5. So B is not what? Greater than A. So we can what? Check where this has landed is. So we can check this. We can check. So let's add something. So so we say what? If A. So we are looking at the if else condition. If A is so let's type in A. So if A is 15, B is what? B is 5. So B is not what? Greater than what? A. So let's look at something else again. So let's rerun this function. This function. So what if what? What if A is what? 10 and B is also 10. Let's see where it will be. So let me change this statement. Okay, let me add. So let's say B is 10 and what? A is 10, B also is 10. So B is not greater than A because what? If B, they say what? The condition is true when what? B is what? Greater than what? A. But over here, B is equal to what? A. So therefore, it will land in what? Else condition. So the statement is not true over here. That means what? The statement is false. So it will land in the else condition saying that B is not greater than A. So rather what? B is equal to what? A. Since both are 10. So let's look at what what if we want to give so many conditions? So many conditions like, so if, else if this is that, so the elif we call it what, else if. So the else statement can only be added once, but what, we can add so many what, else if statement, so many else if statements. So if this is not true, then what, check what for this. If this is also not true, then what, then now print what, else statement, saying that what a is what, greater than b. So the statement is like, so now we are taking a float from what, we will try and take a float, whether it's an integer or not. So we will try and take, so after taking what, the user input, the input from a user, if b is greater than a, print what, b. So this, if b is greater than a, then what, print what, b is what, greater than what, a. So this over here, this statement aligning here. So this statement, the print b is greater than, is a body of what, the if condition, and this is not part of what, the if condition. The elif statement is not part of what, the if condition. So this is what, a statement on it. Also check, else check what, a is, if a is what, equal to what, b. So the double equal sign means what, equal. So we are trying to check if this is this. So this single one, we always refer to it as what, assignment sign. So then what, print. So this print a and b are equal is what, a elif statement, is for what, is the body of the elif statement. Else if this statement is also false, then what, now print what, a is greater than b. Simple. So let's go to our Jupyter. So let's go to our Jupyter. So let's check for this statement. So a is I'm taking an integer. So a is an integer. So input what, input. So let's give a message, enter max. For grading. So enter max for grading, then b. So okay, I won't add b. So let's just go straight to the point. So if, so we will say that what, if what, let's check the grading system. So this is more like what, the US grading system. So if a is what, greater than what, greater than or equal to what, 85, then what, print what, a grade. So let's say the person is having a grade. So what if the person is not between what, is not part of the a grade? Then what, do something else. So else if, so that's when the elif comes in. Elif, you do all those statements like twice or 3 times, and you bring our else statement. So else if, sorry, so if a is what, greater than what, greater than or equal to what, 85. So if a is greater than or equal to 85, then what, then print what, a grade. A grade. So let's write it A grade. Okay, I'll write it in a small A grade. A grade. Else if, so what if the person is not part of what? The A grade? Then do what again? Check for this and grade this person also. So else if, so the if statement comes in. So you can decide to put it in the parentheses or not. So let's say if now we have what? A is what? Less than 85. So let's say, so this way our bool statement and comparison comes in. So the boolean comparison is to check for all these things, then and grade the person. So refer to the previous lesson and keep up with us. So those who are now joining us should refer to also leave. So and what? And what if what this guy A is so is now greater than what? 80. So greater than or equal to what? 80. Then what? Print who? Print he or she is having what? A minus grade. A minus grade. Also, else what again? So then check. So if this is not true, this statement here is not true, check for this statement over here. So a leaf of what? So if this is what? This guy is what? A is less than what? 80, and I'm what? Greater than or equal to what? And A is still what? Greater than or equal to 75. Then grade this guy. Grade this guy. So let's say print B grade. B grade. So grade B grade. Also what again? So let's say, so I urge you to learn all the shortcuts for Jupyter Notebook so you can apply them. So now we just add the parentheses so to make it look nice. So in this session, let's add what? Let us not add the parentheses and see if it will look nice. So let's say A is less than 75, and what? A is greater than or equal to 70. So print that this guy is having what? Print that this guy is having, so let's print that this guy is B minus, grade. Else what? So if this guy is not in here, so if this statement is false, then what? Check for this statement over here, and after checking if this statement also is false, check the next line. If this statement also is false, check this one. Then if for instance this statement is false, then what? what are we going to do? So now this is why we introduce the else statement. So else say what? Else tell the user that what? Below average. So let's say below average. So let's just end this. We don't want to make our code lengthier. So change this statement here. So let's print. So enter mark for grading. So let's say the guy is having not 75. So B grade. So that user is having what? Grade B grade. So what if a user, the mark is what? 1 below average? And what if what? The person has or something higher than what? 85. Since we said that what? Since we said that what? If A is greater than what? Or equal to 85, then what? Print A grade. So let's say this guy is having what? 90. So you can also what? Limit the max to 100. So the max cannot go up to what? 900. So to do that, I'll ask you how to do research on all this. I can't do all for you. If I do all for you, you won't have any experience, but when you do the research, it stays with you forever. So if A is what? 90, so print what? A grade. So since the statement over here is true, it's printing this ignoring the rest of what? This, isn't it? So let's say after that, let's say this statement is on its own. So print I am happy. So this statement is not part of any of the what? If, elif or else statement. So let's rerun this and see. So if this guy is having what? A grade of what? 95. Go enter. I am happy. So what if what? This guy is having a grade of what? 6. I am happy also will be printed after that, because what is not part of what? The condition statement. So now we will look at what? Another statement. Sorry. So we will look at what? Loop. So while loop. So if what? N. So let's say you take n is equal to some input, so some input, then I is equal to 1. So while something this is true, then what? Continue to print what? I. Then you do what? I is equal to I plus 1. So this is the same as what? I is equal to what? I plus 1. So in Python you can write this. So in Python you can write it as what? I plus equal to 1, which is the same as what? I is equal to I plus 1. So while this statement is true, continue to print this until what? This condition is true. Until this condition is not true anymore. So until this condition is false. So since I will be what? If I is what? Less than n, continue to print. So this is what we call the while loop. So let's look at our while loop. while loop. So escape. So the while loop. So let's say if n equals some input. So let's take input from the user, and I is equal to 1. So we need to sort of set some statements saying that what this is I beginning from what 1. So you can decide to put in your default statement over here that what I is equal to some variable where you want the I to start from. So then we will look at while. So if this I is equal to 1, then while I is less than n, then not print what? So let's say print I. Print I to the power of what? So let's do to the power of 2. Why not? You keep adding what 1 to what I. So if you do what I, so that's what I plus 1, I plus equal to, so plus equal to 1. So let's add a statement here. So this is a comment. So this is so I is equal to I plus 1. So when this is true, then sorry, let's put this statement. So let me write this. So print this is iteration number so iteration number what, let's say I. So the command means what? So it will give it a space, then I. So to print all the I values. So after printing this, then what also, so you can add so many what print out statements over here. So let's say I. So then from there, let's print out. So let's put this outside there. So it will check for all these statements over here before performing all this. So the while statement, while will check this. So if this is true, then it will check for all these things. So let's say print loop done. So if n is equal to 10, then what do what? Enter. Sorry. So sorry, I didn't specify since this is like a what integer. So when you're doing specify, it will take it as an what a string. So let's specify this. Oops. So let's rerun. So let's say 10. So if you say 10, so it will start from what? So this is what iteration. So I, when this is the iteration number I, so it will start from 1. So since I is equal to 1, so it will start from here. Then the next one to do what? I plus 1. So the new I. So if I is 1, that means 1 plus 1, 2. When we now have 2, it will do what? The new I is now 2. So 2 plus 1, giving you the third 3, then 3. Sorry. So I square. So let's say first I, when the iteration number 1 square will give you what? 1. 2 square giving you 4. So 2 square giving you 4 over here. 3 square giving you what? 5. Sorry, 9. 3 square giving you what? 4 square giving you 16. 5 square giving you what? 25. 6 square giving you 36. So let's pause. So this is how we do loop. So I'll urge you all to do revision on loop. There are lots of loop statements out there. So I'll encourage you to look for more examples on looping, while loop. So now you look at the for loop. So we have the while loop and the for loop. So the for loop. So for loop is saying that what? So we call this. So this is for a list, or sorry. So we can take a list of statements. Sorry. So list of statement. So we take then for I. So this is in range of 10. So it would look for I variable. So if you say print I plus 1, so for I in range of 10, so the range of 10, then append this I square, so L dot append. So append means to add a new variable into your list. So let's look at that. So the range of numbers, so they're ranging from 10. In Python, it will start from 0 and ends at 9. And but you can still specify that what you want the machine to do for you. So let's look at it. So we have for loop. So for loop. So after the for loop system, so let's say L is equal to so next we have for I in in range. So range of 10. So then print what? So let's say print. So I urge you all to practice, like look for examples, go to Kaggle, you see your timeline examples, and solve then more on loop statement. And after this video we will start with our data science, so beginning with our data structures. So in only 2 lessons remain for us to finish this, and we'll try solving more examples, practical examples, then we'll continue with other tutorials as well. So I plus 1, so then what, print I plus 1. From there you also what, append what, so append means what, adding a new variables into your list. So I, so that's 2. So let's sort print this. So this is the statement. So for I in range of what, 10. So let's say first let's print what, let's print so let's say first if you print only I, then what, you see the range of values starting from what, 0 to 9. So this is how Python will start for you. Python will start from 0 to what, 9. So but when you do what, I plus 1, so that's why I did a plus 1, and you run this again, you see starting from what, print I plus 1. So from a what, those range of values from 0 to 9, you take 0, do plus 1 to it, you have 1. So after having what, 1, you do plus 1 to the 1 again, you have 2. So you will now have 2. So after doing what, plus 1 to 2, you have this, and that, so and so on. So now we have append a new value saying that what, I squared. We have not printed we have not print out what, the L. So let's print L and see. So let's print L. Let's print L. So print L. So when we say what, we have append a new value. So this is the I plus 1. I plus 1. I plus 1. So after checking for your I plus 1, we know our I values are what, starting from what, 0 to 9 if you print only I. So let's print only I over here. You know that our what are starting from only what, 0 to 9. So if you do what, L append what, I to the power 2, we will now have what, 0 square giving you what, 0, 1 square giving you what, this, 2 square giving you 4, up to 9 square giving you what, 81. So you will have this list of numbers or list. So this is how what, for loops work. And also we can also what, define the range of values. So you can what, specify the range of values that you want. So you want the range to start from where and end at where, and you can give it a step also. So let's say, so let's say, okay, let's just use the same statement. So it's not only 10 you can use for range, you can change it to 20 as well. 20. So 20 you will have this perhaps 9. So if you do your +1 over here, we will now say a range of 1 to 20, and with the all dot append. So now let's specify the range of values. So we can specify the range of values that if let the start from where 1, then what? So if specifying the range, you need comma. MATLAB use a different colon, and this Python use R. So then end at where? End at 14. And what should be the step size? The step size, so let's say 2. So let's run this. So a range of values, so starting from, so let's change this from I + 1 to I and see. So starting from 1, then do +2 to it. So the step size should be 2. So starting from 1, then your next value will be 3, then 5, 17, 9, 11, 13. Same, because Python takes range from 0. So you specify, so the range ends at 13. So let's say start from, so shift enter 13 as well. So that's the end, 13 as well. So let's next, this one is making your own functions. Yeah. So let's say you can define your own functions in the system that you can keep using anytime just by importing it into your workspace. So you can just save that you can just save your own functions, then anytime you are working any workbook or workspace, then you can import it to your workspace, then you call it. So let's say, for instance, you need to do this multiple tasks several times in the same workspace or the same workbook. So you can just define the function. After defining that using this, so def, you call it the definition, or so you define it. So then you just call this. So after defining it, then you go to the next line, you call it. So anytime you need this statement to be printed, you will just call it with print this, then you will see it at the down. So print success with the parentheses, then all these statements will be printed. So if, for instance, you need to do all these tasks several times, so writing length of codes like it's not good for this statement. So for instance, you do a mistake in this, that means if you do mistake by printing it one by one, so you print this statement one by one and there's a mistake in it, you will not be able to change all at once. You will now have to go through your code line by line, then looking for all these statements. But when you define this, because this is what you just need to call, the statement you just need to call, you just have to come to this statement, the definition statement, then change whatever you want to change, then you rerun the server, then you will see the results. So that's one thing about writing your own functions or making your own functions. So let's look at Jupyter Notebook and see how this works. So making your own so shift enter. So let's define a statement as well. So since you might be using the define statement consistently throughout the program, then you can just define something like this, simple. Even if it's what mathematically, so in mathematics we are missing all these things. You'll be like, when this is this, then what, you just keep using that variable or that assignment thing multiple times in what, consistently in the what, mathematics, so they arrive at what, their answer. So the same way you can also do that in Python. So let's say define, let's say print success. So I'll just use this. So print success, then print some statement. Print some statement. So let's say I am done with my task. My friend, my task. Let's say my task. Print. Print. So any more tasks available. So for instance, you are freelancer, then what you can keep asking your client. So print print send me more task, please. So print so let's say print waiting. So let's shift one. So now this is now in the system, so we can call it anytime. So let's say print success. So I am done with my tags. Any more tags available? Send me more tags, please. Waiting. So for instance, we are writing lines of code, so let's do some few codes outline here, like 2 plus 4, shift enter. So print b, shift enter 6. So let's say after writing a lot of lines, a lot of codes or lines of code, then let's say you want to print this, print success thing again. So I'm done with my task, send me more tasks. So you can just then shift then you print it because it's saved in the system. But you can also save this workbook, save it and import it, and you will learn all this data. So you will download. So that means I need to say, then you save it as a Python file. So after saving it as Python file, then be sure you import it anytime you are using any workbook into the system. So you just need to import it into your where you are working, then you call it anytime. You call the function anytime at all, then you use it. So let's look at our next example, then we close for today. So let's go to another line. So let's define some statements. So you can also use this to define some. So define, let's say, my power. So when you use the hashtag sign, the hash sign that's for single comment or comment, and we can also use three quotes for comment. So we can write a full line of comment. So it's just for a single comment. So multi-line comment. We call it a multi-line comment. So A, let's say A comma B. Then we have this. So let's give it a multi-line comment. So multi-line comment. So let's say this function computes power just like the built-in power function. So this function. So we can enter. So let's now define. So let's say C is equal to A to the power B. So from there, then you print out C. So let's check this. So let's say my power. So you write it my power. What? So what should be the function? So let's say 4,3. So shift enter is 64 because it will take all this line by line. So print out say, so if A is 4, B is 3, then 4 to the power 3, then you have 64. Then the other one, so let's say after doing all this and you want to print success 10 again, that you are done. So let's say print, since this is still in this workbook, so let's say, so I am done with all my tags. Any tags available, send me more tags. But then thank you.